What's up, guys? And welcome to the Hollywood Dreams podcast. Today's episode, I talk with the legendary Terry Ilous, frontman to one of the best hard rock bands out there, XYZ. Terry tells me all about his projects, his solo albums, and also his classic rock project, Land of Gypsies, which is available on Spotify and other streaming platforms. We also talk about the struggles of releasing an album in today's musical landscape, and he even gives us a hint of the new XYZ music that's coming soon. So, without further ado, here's Terry Ilous. Rock on! Hey, Terry, how are you?
Santi, how's everything over there?
I'm doing great, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here, man. This is the Hollywood Dreams podcast, right? And I like to start things always with the same question. Do you consider yourself a dreamer?
A dreamer, of
Yeah,
course. Of course, I'm a dreamer. But I like for dream to come true. So I do everything I can to make sure they come true. Dreaming is one thing, but but you need to make sure that they actually come true. Otherwise, they're just dreams.
absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% right. You gotta take action on your dreams.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big believer of that. That it's one thing to have a dream, but also you have to be able to make it come true, and that's another story, of course. But that's not always easy.
No, not at all. That's totally true. So, well, first of all, sorry for my voice. It's a little bit shot. I had band rehearsal yesterday, and you know what it's like.
Oh yeah, of course.
So if I sound a little bit sleepy, it's not that.
No problem. All good, mate.
All right, man. So you got a lot of stuff. You released a lot of stuff lately. You got
Yeah,
two solo albums. The Land of Gypsies album.
yeah. At Lens of
Yeah.
Gypsies, I did an album. For the last few years, I released a lot of things. I also did a Latin flamenco album. Um,
Hmm.
I think I'm very. I like to be busy. I believe we're only here for a little while, and we need to do as much as we can, achieve as much as we can while we can. So it's important to stay busy and as we talked about the dream, make the dream come true. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to the Land of Gypsies album earlier today. I think it sounds great, man. I love that combination of classic sound with slick production.
Thank you. Yeah, it was produced by a friend of mine named Fabrizio Grozzi, Italian friend of mine, and it was a very easy work. Meaning, we just wake up, would meet with him around 11 o'clock at the studio. He's Italian, and I'm French Spanish. So the first thing we would do is drink a little cappuccino or espresso and talk about food, talk about soccer, talk about life. And then I pick up my guitar and he would say, "Do you have a song?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." So I would sing a few ideas and present few ideas. And then he would say, "Yes, no, yes, no." And then we would immediately um, put a song together, verse, bridge, chorus, all that stuff. And then send it to the guitar player, Sergey. And with a bass drum, bass groove, and that was it. Eric Ragnar would do the keys, and then that would be over. So it would be it's really easy recording, no pressure, no stress. Probably the easiest recording I have ever done in my life.
Oh wow. Well, that's amazing, man. I especially love the song Shattered. I think that's a great one. It has a great melody.
Thank you. It shattered. I recorded the song just after my depart. I wrote the song just after my departure from Great White about 3 4 years ago, and
Yeah.
and you know, I when Fabrizio asked me for a song, I said, "Well, how about this?" He said, "Oh, I like it." So we gave it a very organic. organic sound. But what I mean by organic is really there's not a lot of. I don't like to add a lot of that big production thing. I mean, for that particular album, for that particular sound, I was looking more of a classic rock sound with bass, drums, a little bit of keys, and that's it. Very organic, very open. And Fabrizio completely understand that, and we went for that. It was a great song actually. I think it's the first song we recorded actually. So yeah.
Wow, amazing, man! If that was the first one, I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's I can hear the chemistry you guys have. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I wrote the music of that song, as I said, about 3-4 years ago, and my partner J.K. Northrop um, wrote the lyrics. I wrote the melody. He wrote the
Yeah,
lyrics, and we worked together very closely. And um, it was very easy, really easy song to work on. It was a lot of fun.
awesome. Yeah, I bet, man. Thanks. That's awesome. So, I hear you guys. By you guys, I mean XYZ is working on a new album as well. Is that right?
Well, yes, we are. It's interesting when you're mentioning this because we have an EP that's pretty much ready to go. We're just
Oh wow.
we've done 5 songs. I think we're gonna release an EP, but I think we may release one song at a time instead of doing a complete EP/album. Uh,
Yeah.
we're gonna record. We're gonna send one single at a time, um, and then see what's gonna happen. It's a little bit. I'd say it has a lot of passion. It's a bit different from the old XYZ, the very premier album, but it still has that XYZ sound and of course the vocals and I'm quite excited about it. I'll be honest with you, I'm very excited about it. But um,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because at the same time, we're gonna release this, which is a little bit more. I wouldn't say modern sounding. I would say a more updated sound. At the same time, we're going to release an album that's completely old school XYZ, which is strange. I guess as a songwriter myself, I like to do different things, not just stick with one particular genre of music or one particular style. So I still have a lot of '80s rock songs in me, and
Yeah.
I like to record them, and so I'm going to release that. Some of them actually going to be released under XYZ. Some of them going to be released under Terry Ilous. Some of them going to be released with my friend J.K. Northrop. So it's just interesting. I have a lot of songs coming up. I mean, honestly, I think I have about 15 or 16 songs already recorded, ready to go.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I don't know when I'm going to release them. I think slowly, one at a time. I don't want to overwhelm people, but and some of them are a little bit different. Some, you'll hear it. Again, Santi, I'm without being pretentious. I'm a very prolific songwriter, meaning I write a lot. Once I'm in a zone to write, that's it. That's all I do. I stay home. I don't go out. I don't do anything. I stay home and pick up my guitar and write. And I have written so many
Yeah.
songs. Yeah, and now it's time to release them. And I've done also a bunch of covers that I need to release as well. So again, there's about 15 to 16 songs ready to go, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to release them. I don't know if I want to go through a label or if I want to do my own label. I'm not quite sure yet. The,
Right.
music scene has changed. So is it really worth
Yeah.
it to go through a label, big label? Is it worth it? I'm not sure. But I don't say it is or it isn't. I'm not sure. That's all.
Well, I mean, nowadays with the technology we have, you can just release your album from your own home without having to go through the hassle of getting a label interest, right?
Yes, but Santi, what does it mean to release an album? See, the question is, anybody can release something. You put it on iTunes and then you put it on Spotify and everything. Okay, but where does it go? And that's the
Yeah.
key. The key is you need to record. I think there's a process here. You need to first write the songs. B, you need to write and release. Of course, same thing. Release and then promotion. What are you going to do with the promotion? If you go through a label, a good label, they're gonna promote it. Supposedly, they're gonna promote it. So you have the machinery behind. You have the machine behind you, like all those the big production, the promotion, the PR firm, blah blah blah. If you do it on your own, you need to understand that you are not only the artist, but you are also the record company. You are also hiring people to promote that album. You are booking yourself or hiring a booking agent. So that's a lot of work. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
which one is best? I have done both. I have to tell you the truth. I have done both, and I'm not convinced one is better than the other, especially nowadays. But if you release something on your own, you have to understand that you really need to have money to promote your album, because releasing an album is the easy part almost, believe it or not. Writing, releasing the album is the easy part. Promoting the album is a complete different story. So you need to hire a good radio promoter, a good publicist, and you need to, you have to post all that stuff on Facebook and Instagram and social media. It is a
Yeah.
lot of work. So you better have a good team behind you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's maybe the stuff that people, as the fans, don't see, right? They take for granted, right? That there's a lot of stuff going on when you release a record behind the scenes,
Yeah,
and you just
because you know what the only thing that bothers me about writing new songs and releasing new songs is this, and I'm going to be very frank. Is you write songs, okay? You're a songwriter. You pick up your guitar, you go and sit down at your piano and write a song, whatever, and then you record the song. Recording the song costs money. Promoting
Mhm.
the song costs a lot of money. But then everybody wants everything for free. Everybody's like, oh, send me the song for free, or nobody wants to buy anything, and they don't mind going to Starbucks and spending $6 on a cappuccino, but they would not spend 99 cents on a song by your favorite artist. They're waiting for that song to be somewhere available for free. So it just
Right.
bothers me. Uh, I, I, I hope the fans can understand that is if we don't have income, then we won't be able to release songs. We won't be able to I mean, writing a song is easy, but releasing it costs a lot of money. I'm talking about the process of recording, promoting. So it's important to buy the song from the artist. I don't like to steal songs from artists. If a friend of mine releases a song, I just buy it. I don't ask, hey, give me a free CD. I don't. Unless
Mhm.
the person gives it to me because he's my buddy. Here's a CD. But I don't mind buying it. I think it's important that fans understand that we need to support artists. And I'm not talking about just myself. I'm talking about every other artist. Um, Otherwise, we won't have new songs. Basically, artists are gonna say, "Why should I spend my time writing a song, releasing a song, knowing that no one's gonna want to buy it? Everybody's gonna say, give it to me for free." So fans and artists need to be close together. And for the most part, I got to be honest with you. For the most part, the fans are wonderful. They come, they spend a lot of money to come and see your show. They buy
Yeah.
T-shirts, merch, and for the most part, the fans are actually wonderful. Only a small amount of them are greedy, and not my fans. I tell you the truth, my fans are always wonderful, and they promote, they share, and I hope you have the same type of fans that I have, because I'm very grateful for my fans.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And I understand what you say. I'm a huge CD, vinyl, just physical media collector, right? So I always try to support the artists, especially when it's I don't know, smaller bands maybe that you release a record. It takes a lot of effort, right? So I don't think downloading the album for free is fair to them.
No, because somebody remember the time where everybody was trying to, here's another example: Spotify. People forget about Spotify. I think Spotify is a good thing because it promotes an artist in a way, but in another way, artists don't make any money.
Yeah.
So how do I feel about Spotify? Well, unfortunately, I have to put my music on Spotify because it's the big source of promotion, I would say. Now, do I
Right.
support it? Absolutely not. I don't like Spotify. I think they're stealing music from everyone. The CEO of Spotify is a billionaire making money off every artist he can, but does he give back? No. So
Right.
I just believe that I'm blessed to have fans that actually buy my work, buy my CDs. Every time I release something, my fans are right there. They're buying the stuff, promoting the stuff. I'm very
Mhm.
grateful for that. Very, very grateful. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So why don't we go back to a simpler time then, without having to worry about all this stuff, and let's go back to where you were just an aspiring rocker. And so tell me, what made you want to be a musician?
Oh, what made me? My dad was a guitar player, a jazz guitar player, and I guess it just came naturally. My dad used to play guitar. Many members of my family were actually musicians. Some of them were very successful, actually, well-known artists, and backup singers. They're
Mhm.
songwriters, piano player, all that stuff. All professional people that made a living out of the art. So, I mean, through the art. I'm sorry. I think I heard my dad play guitar, and I started doing the same thing. And my members of my family were singing, so I used to sing. It's in your DNA. I never. It was not my choice. It's not like I said, "Hey, tomorrow morning I'm going to become an actor," or "Tomorrow morning I'm going to become a singer or a painter or whatever." No,
Yeah.
it's in my DNA. I woke up and I'm like, "Oh, this is who I am," and that's it. It's not pretentious what I'm saying, or it's not thing. I think our DNA, whoever tells us who basically dictate what we're gonna do, basically. So
Right. Yeah. That's awesome that you had that background. So, what were you? Did you have like any favorite albums growing up that made you go, I want to be that guy. I want to make that."
well, you're gonna laugh. I first of all, I listened to so many different albums in my life that were. Uh, I went from bossa nova because my dad was a jazz guitar player, so I listened to bossa nova, jazz, Sergio Mendes, all those people, and
Oh,
then I
wow.
listened to rock. I listened to, but I wanted to be a crooner. I wanted to be Frank Sinatra, Tom Jones. I remember
Oh, wow.
watching, yeah, I remember watching Tom Jones on TV, and
Yeah.
all the women were throwing underwear at him, like bras, underwear, panties. I'm like, dude, I want to be that guy. So no, I'm just kidding. The truth is, I remember watching those great singers on stage, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And the emotion, the message, it touched me, and I was like, look, listen to that guy. He's such a great singer, and his emotion, or he or she was a great singer, and I wanted to be like them. I like the Stones. I like the classic rock, R&B. I like James Brown, Ray Charles.
Right.
There's really not one particular artist or one particular genre of music that really made me want to do. Oh, I want to be like that guy. No, really, I listen to all kinds of stuff and I say, oh, I like this, I like that. Um, the only thing I can't do is rap. I'm not a good rapper. That's for sure. I can't. But I like everything. I think as an artist, you have to listen to different things in order to write to widen the horizon, so you're not stuck into one genre of music. Now, that's the way I feel. Is it good or is it bad? I don't know, but that's the way I feel, and that's it. Some other people just are really good at one, doing country or rock or whatever. That's all they do, and God bless them, and that's great. I'm happy for them. I like all kinds of music. I listen to classical music. I was a huge Mozart, Beethoven, Franz Liszt, Chopin fan. Um, so I listen to that. I listen to the Beatles. I listen to anything that would actually help me write, help me understand the passion, help me understand music. There's really not a genre of music or an artist that said, I want to be like him. I never wanted to be like a particular artist. I think I wanted to be me.
Right.
It does.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to be pretentious. I just say that I never really had the thought of, oh my God, I'm gonna become like Mick Jagger. I mean, Mick Jagger
Right.
is freaking brilliant, but I'm glad he's Mick Jagger. You know, he's a great artist, one of the greatest rock singer of all time, if not the greatest. You know, he's 80 years old, he's 78 years old, and he's better than anybody else on stage. So it's amazing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get it. You wanted to be Terry,
I wanted to
not
be me. I didn't want to be anybody else. But you know, by saying that, I don't try to be pretentious. By saying that, I just say that this is who I wanted to be. I wanted to be myself. My dad told me, he said, "Well, you know, try to be yourself, and if you're lucky, someone's gonna like you. If you're not lucky, then it is what it is." I'm like, "Okay, Dad, you got it."
Were you a Johnny Holiday fan growing up in France?
Of course, Johnny Holiday was a. I met him actually. I worked with him. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I wrote a few songs for him. Johnny Holiday was brilliant song, brilliant singer, French singer. He sold over 120 million albums, and
yeah,
Johnny Holiday was the French Elvis, and he was a beast on stage. He was an animal. He was one of the best stage performer I have ever seen in my life. It was all about music and passion, and people don't know who he is because he's French, and people say, "Oh, you know, whatever." No, I'm telling you, he was a beast on stage. He was the guy was got so much passion. It's hard to beat that. You know what I mean? Many artists don't have that. They go on stage and they don't move, and they walk from left to right to left to right, and that's
right.
their stage move. I'm like, all right, that's good for you. But no, not Johnny Holiday. Johnny Holiday was a beast, just like Mick Jagger is, or just like James Brown was. Those guys are stage performer. It's very hard to find a great singer slash stage performer. You either have one or the other, and once in a while there's a great guy that comes along and does both. You know, like Freddie Mercury, for example, one of the greatest frontmen ever. He was not only a great singer, but he was an amazing stage performer, which is pretty rare, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. They can be. I mean, there's only a handful of people that get to have both things, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So how did XYZ came to be?
Uh, well, you know, I got a phone call from Pat. I met Pat through someone, my friend Alan, and he said, "Hey, this guy Pat is putting an album together. He's looking for a singer." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not interested." He said, "Well, he'll pay you." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And yeah, I mean, I was not into heavy metal, so I said, "All right, I'll do it." And we did the work together, and it sounded pretty good. I was really happy with the result, and he's asked me to come to Los Angeles, and I said, "All right." So I went to Los Angeles, and we started the story just like that. Him and I living in a crappy apartment, first living in a car, living in a Buick or Chevy, I forgot
But
what we had, and then after that, getting a little apartment in Hollywood,
yeah,
like everybody else, and putting a band together, getting rejected by everybody else, and eventually get a record deal and did pretty well.
yeah, right. So was it a hard decision to move all the way from France to the United States?
Well, I was signed to a record label, and um, just before releasing the album, they decided to drop me. They said, "Man, we don't know what to do with you," so they dropped me. And I got to tell you the truth, that really shook me and hurt me. So when Pat asked me, "Hey, would you like to come to Los Angeles and work with me?" I said, "Yeah, why not? I have nothing else going on, so I might as well see some palm trees and the sun and enjoy the sun and go to the beach, if anything."
Right.
So it's the truth. It's really I had nothing else going on. It's not like I was like in high demand or nobody
Yeah,
nobody wanted to hire me. So I'm like, all right, he's giving me a little bit of money, I'll do it.
and try my luck over there. That's fine. That's awesome. Okay, so but was it so when you guys first got there? Was it hard to get gigs? To get people to go to the shows, being from out?
Like everybody else, we're passing flyers. When you're a brand new band, nobody wants to see you. You know, especially you're a foreigner. You come from a different country. You look different. You sound different. Um, I was not exactly the pretty boy type of guy. I was more muscular and into martial arts, and I was not into drugs or partying. It was my goal was to um, sing well, like Ronnie James Dio or those kind of singers. I was not into bubble gum and makeup and all that crap. And
Right.
at the time, Hollywood was, you had like a different type of music that was really going well, but you had like bands like Guns N' Roses, which is not exactly what I wanted to do, but I like them. Then you had all the what's so-called hair band, which I don't like to be called a hair band because they're all wearing spandex and everything, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I've never worn spandex in my life. So the bands were like Poison and all those guys, which I respect. That's what they like to do. I respect all those guys, except they were wearing women's clothes and everything, and I'm not much into wearing women's clothes. So I decided to. It was a hard thing because we were heavy, and we were not pretty boys, but we wanted to rock. So we were more like bands like YNT and um,
Yeah.
we were more like Sammy Hagar, YNT. We were just that type of music, that type of band, which is not exactly what you can call the pretty boys, but we were also, wanted to rock. We were musicians. This is what I'm trying to say. We were musicians. After all, before anything else, I wanted to be considered a singer, not a pretty boy. I didn't care about that. Unfortunately, it happened that if you want to make it into this business, you got to be pretty. So yeah, that was that wasn't easy. We were competing with all the bands. A lot of bands on the Sunset Strip were basing their success on looks and everything, and it was different because in Europe, I'm from Europe. People don't care about that. People only care about the music, and you know
Yeah.
it was not, put it this way, it was not easy to get signed, but I'm sure it's the same story for every other band. Nobody had it easy. Nobody. I'm not.
No.
I can't say that I had worse luck than anybody else. I just can say that we were the last band, and I think we were actually the last band to be successful off the Sunset Strip at that era. The last band that got signed was XYZ. The last band that sold a lot of albums went gold, that was XYZ. After that, um, I don't think anybody else. I mean, some other bands were signed, but they didn't achieve, um, gold status or platinum status. They didn't. I just believe that it's unfortunate for them because there was a lot of great bands. I remember. I remember all those bands on the Sunset Strip. They were really good, all of them. Everybody was good on the Sunset Strip. Everybody had something. I don't remember. I mean, I'm sure there were some crappy bands, but I remember seeing Tough. I remember seeing Band Tango. I remember seeing Love Hate. All those guys. All those guys were really good. They were really, really good. They all had something. Not was not what we had, or didn't want to be like them. But I got to tell you, I respected all of them. All of them. Armored Saint, Shark Island. Those guys were.
Great band.
Yeah, I love Shark Island. I used to go and see them all the time. I used to go and see Rough Cut all the time. Love Hate. Those guys were
Yeah.
great. All those bands were great. Bantango was great back then. All those guys were wonderful. There was really, everybody had something special. Now we were different because we were caught between heavy metal like Judas Priest and blues, but also we realized that we needed to be a party band too. So it was kind of weird thing. The other bands were like, nope, we're a party band and that's it, or we are heavy metal and that's it. So it was a tough
Oh
thing.
yeah, I mean, you definitely stood out. Your band definitely stood out with that mix of melodic but heavier sound. You had the melodies and the party, as you say, but you also had the musicianship to really
Yeah,
back it up.
yeah, thank you. Again, one of the first band we really liked, influenced by, was Sammy Hagar. I love Sammy Hagar. To this day, I love Sammy Hagar. I still love
Yeah.
YNT. We were more into like YNT, Sammy Hagar type of band. We were that rock, there's only one way to rock. And I love all that stuff. It was heavy. It was heavy, but it was not trash metal. It was heavy still. You know what I mean? But we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, like the
make a lot.
classic '80s hard rock, heavy metal, like Dokken, Rat,
Oh my
early
God,
Rat.
I'm a big dog. I love Dawkins. I love Don Dawkins. George Lynch is fucking great guitar player. He's like one of the best. I love Jake Ely, all those guys. I really like that kid. That kind of. We were just caught. We were just like we wanted to be like those guys. We wanted to be like YNT and Sammy Hagar. That's really who we wanted to be like.
Yeah, well, I mean that totally I can totally see that. So
Mm-hmm.
what's the story behind the name? I always wondered.
Well, we wanted to be called Van Halen, but he was already taken, so we chose XY. Led Zeppelin was a good name also, but somebody got it, bastards. No, I don't.
Yeah,
One day, Pat went to the store, and you remember if you go to the music store, they had all those bins where they have like A, all
right. Yeah,
the album cover A, and then all the albums under B. And he remembers going to the bin that says XYZ. There was always a bin under XYZ together, the three letters together, and there was only X, and there was one band called X. Z was zebra. Y like yes. There were. So we said, oh, there's already a bin with our name XYZ. So let's take that. So we took that.
well, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. It's already a bin. So let's take it. XYZ. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean that's great. That's a great reason. And now that you say it, I mean it's funny how it played out that you guys, as you said, you guys came out at the very tail end of the '80s, and your band was like the XYZ, the last letters of the alphabet. It's funny how that works.
We were a bit too late. It's very unfortunate for us. We were a bit too late. Everybody else got signed before us. Warrant got signed 3 years before us. Poison 3 years. All those great bands. I mean, I love Warrant, Poison. All those guys were all signed before us, and Cakes way before us. And
Yeah,
we had the great songs. We had good label. Unfortunately, we were a bit late, so we could not. If we would have been signed 3 years prior to 1990, that would have been
yeah,
great. But except I don't think we were ready in 1987. I don't think we were. We were still searching for ourselves. Um, Although we had the songs written, we wrote already Souvenirs. We wrote What Keeps Me Loving You already. But there was, we didn't have Inside Out yet. Inside Out is the last song we wrote, basically.
all right.
And that's the song I got us signed, actually.
I mean it's an amazing song, yeah,
Thanks.
and a single, right?
Yeah, we wrote it. Really, we didn't know. We said, we need a song. We need a song. So we Mark came up with a riff. I came up with the melody and the arrangement with Pat and lyrics, and we wrote it. We took us 5 minutes. We went in the studio, cut it, and the very
Hmm.
first time we played it live, there was a label there, and they said, "We want to sign you." That was it. True story. There was nothing else. We didn't even shop it
Yeah,
really because we were thinking no one's going to sign us. So we at the
yeah,
time we didn't think we'd get signed. We just said whatever.
yeah. Let's just do what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so besides Inside Out, I also really well. It's I mean, a lot of people surely tell you this, but what gives me loving you as a ballad, it stands out from the rest of the ballads that came out during that era, I think, because again, the musicianship is really different. I mean, you can tell the guitar work is just great, and it's not your typical '80s sappy ballad.
Well, what keeps me loving you, thank you, was written by Pat and I. I wrote the music and melody, and Pat wrote the lyrics. Um, we, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. A song comes out of nowhere. You don't know. 5 minutes before you don't have it, and then 5 minutes later you have it. You don't know how a song comes up with. I remember, last night I was watching an interesting documentary on the. Oh my God, I forgot those two guys. They wrote "Hello Santa Na Na Na."
Yeah, Simon
Simon Garfunkel.
Garfunkel.
Yeah, yeah. And I was watching this documentary on how he wrote that song, "A Bridge Over Troubled Water," and he said really he was like laying down on his bed and decided to play a few chords, and a few minutes later the song was written. I mean, the music was written, the lyrics after that, but he doesn't know how it happened. A song comes out of nowhere. You don't know how it's going to happen. It just pick up your
Yeah.
guitar, you sit down in front of your piano, and you write the song. It's a mystery, um, and you know, I never know. I went to the gym this morning, and I was in the gym, and I was working out, and all of a sudden I had to stop working out because I had a melody in my head. I went downstairs and picked up my, got the phone and started singing the melody. And people were looking at me, thinking, "What's wrong with this guy?" And it came out of nowhere. It's just something that comes just like that. And then I had to stop my workout, thinking, "God, I got to go and work on that song now." Um, it's interesting how it comes out of nowhere. I wouldn't tell you that's for example, that song "What Keeps Me Loving You." I don't know what happened. One day I picked up my guitar and it, that was it. You know.
Yeah, I totally get that. That happens to me a lot as well. I mean, I just gotta drop whatever I'm doing and just record it or write it down so I don't forget it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
crazy how it happens. Yeah. So you guys were the unofficial Whiskey A Go Go house band, right? How did that happen?
Well, the truth is, we were playing the strip all the time. You had different bands. You have one band, the type of bands that were playing guitarists all the time.
Hmm.
Like Shark Island was playing guitarists all the time. There was a bunch of bands that were just mostly playing guitarists. And then you were
Yeah.
other bands that were playing mostly the Whiskey and the Roxy. And we were the bands that were playing the Whiskey and the Roxy all the time. And we were selling out. We were not signed, but we were selling out. Every time we played, the place would be packed, completely packed. The fire department will show up, cancel the show. We need to evacuate the room. Too many people. Blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
we made a deal with Mario from the Whiskey. Mario decided to manage us for a little while. Mario and Lou Adler, who owned the Whiskey and the Roxy and Rainbow, they decided to manage us for a little while. And they said, "Well, if you wanna, we can give you a residency at the Whiskey." And you have to play twice a month, two or three times a month. In exchange of that, we're going to put a sign on the Whiskey. It says XYZ. We're going to give you food, pay you give a little bit of money. So we said, okay, it was great promotion for us. The sign was in front of the Whiskey for 18 months. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
there was three bands that were house band at the Whiskey, unofficial. There was the Doors, okay, then Motley Crue, and then XYZ. It's never been another band that was an official house band at the Whiskey. Never, ever, ever, never. There was
That's
bands playing there
great.
often, but never like us.
That's crazy, man, and that's something to be proud about for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. But besides the whiskey, did you guys had any other favorite clubs to play?
Well, we were playing everywhere, but we mostly played the Whiskey. Then you had other gigs. You would play Orange County. We call that the Orange Curtain because we would never go there. But you would go and play, you would go and play the Sunset Strip, but playing the Valley, like San Fernando Valley, like FM station, you're like, whoa, you know. But those clubs were
Yeah.
great. But so we would mostly play the Strip, and then once in a while we would go and play FM station, and then we would
Mhm.
go to the what we call the behind the Orange Curtain to go to Orange County. We would play the Marquee, we would play Jezebels, and we would do very well. Those clubs were dude. Those clubs were badass. Those clubs were amazing. People over there were so friendly, and it's just a lot of fun. I remember playing Jezebels, that crappy little club. It still exists, by the way, and it was an amazing place. I loved it. I loved it. I loved Jezebel. I loved that place. Loved it. You know.
Yeah. Uh, so in 1991 you released Hungry, this your
Yeah.
second album.
Yeah.
Uh, and man, let me tell you, that's my favorite album from XYZ. I think you guys perfected the sound by the time you release your second record, and I think that's an amazing album all the
Thank you.
way through.
Thank you.
Yeah, I especially love the songs. Well, of course, the Face Down in the Gutter, it's great. But also when I find love, I think that's just an amazing song,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you. Thank you
Do,
very
do,
much.
do
What?
you think that? I think that if that album would have come out like a little bit earlier, it would have been a great success.
Yeah, thank you. It was a matter of timing. By the time we released the album was already doomed. We knew that. Guns N' Roses was doing great, thank God. But basically, Nirvana was already out. Nirvana, all those bands from Seattle, and they were
Yeah,
outselling us anyway. So in 1991, when we released Hungry, um, club promoters were no longer interested. Started to no longer be interested in what they call the hair band era type of band, like us and Warrant, all those guys. They were like, I don't know what those bands. So
yeah,
people wanted to hear Stone Temple Pilots. No, actually, Stone Temple Pilots was not even there yet. They wanted to hear Alice in Chains, all those guys, and all those bands like XYZ, all the Great White Warrant, they got dropped a few years later. It got dropped from their labels because labels was, oh well, nobody wants you guys, so we're gonna drop you, and that's basically it. So we kind of side. The music business is like that. You make money for those labels. You pay everybody's salary because they live a very lavish life because they they're making so much money through the artist, and then when you don't make any more sense, they think you're passe, and they drop you like an old potato. They're like, screw you. So it's the nature of the music business. It's the way it goes. So you just have to accept it.
yeah. It's the way it goes. Yeah. So, but in mid 90s, a lot of bands were, well, early to mid 90s. A lot of these glam bands, the hard rock bands, were releasing some grunge albums. Like Warren released Doggy. Well, I wouldn't call it grunge, but heavier sounding, right? Doggy Dog and Ballad Boys also released the more heavier albums. Did that ever cross your mind as well? Doing
No,
that like
no, not really. No, I was not into grunge. I like grunge. I like Alice in Chains. I listen to them a little bit. Of course, I love the Soundgarden because I really loved Chris Cornell. But no, I was not interested in that. By that time, I was doing other things for a living. I was doing other things, and I was no longer in the music business. I took a 10-year off absence from the music scene, and I was not into releasing something that I didn't feel. You have to feel the music. You
yeah,
have to feel it. You don't do things for. I got to be honest with you, Sensi. I don't do things for anybody else than myself. Okay. What I
yeah,
mean by that is I write songs and I play those songs because I love them. And if I get a crowd, if I get followings, and I'm really blessed and grateful and thankful. However, I don't do it thinking I'm going to write a song. Hopefully, those people are going to like it. No, you don't do it like that. You write the songs because you like it. So grunge was not in my cup of tea. So I decided not to do it. I mean, I experimented a little bit, and it was not what I would call grunge, but I did experiment other things, not so not so pop, I would say. And I did that when I released some of the songs on the album Cage. So they were a little bit darker, yes, but were they grunge? No, they were more Zeppelin, more uh, you know uh, that
yeah,
type of you know I
yeah,
never
yeah. I get it.
I didn't want to be a grunge singer because I don't have that kind of voice. I don't have those kind of harmonies, and I don't feel them. So I didn't do that. I don't think it was right.
No, it wouldn't sound right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So as you said, you took a break from the music business and then came back in the 2000s. Do you and you guys started touring again, right?
Yeah, we got together, we got signed, and we toured, and then we started touring, and then I had to take another absence from XYZ because I was working with a different band. So
Hmm.
so that was it.
Yeah, I mean, a different band. You did a lot of stuff, man, during those years. I was looking at your at your bio online, and man, you did a lot of stuff. I love that you have a very eclectic uh, sound. I mean, very different stuff. You're not you don't only do rock stuff, but a lot flamenco, maybe Latin sounding things.
Yeah, voiceover. I do a lot of voiceover. I think it's important to again what has to I feel doesn't mean it's right. Okay, you have to understand it's the way I feel, and what way
Yeah.
I feel is you have to be versatile. You have to be eclectic. You have to be because that's the way I feel. Now, is it right for everybody else? No. Some some
No.
people some people do country for the rest of their lives, and God bless them, and they do it better than anybody else. Great. I'd be bored to death doing one style of music. I love rock and roll, but if I would only do rock and roll, I got to be honest with you, I'd be bored to death. I like to listen to all kinds of music. And it doesn't mean I'm good at it, but at least I try to please myself. And again, I do things to please myself. I I don't try to do things thinking, oh, by releasing this album, I'm gonna please the journalist and I'm gonna get people gonna like me. I don't care about that. You know,
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, yeah.
You have to be true to your to the art. Basically, it.
Yeah, and I think that when you do that, when you're true to yourself, that's when the real passion comes out, and that reflects on the music you make. If you make stuff without passion, it sounds like something you do for money and not for yourself, right?
Yeah, you do things. I'm very fortunate that people still hire me. I got to be honest with you, and pay me to sing and all stuff. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. But if it wasn't the case, I'd be doing other things, but I would still be singing. You
Yeah,
know, that's the thing. But I think it's important to be true to your gun and to for people to see, so people can hear and feel that passion. If you do things because it's just about money, you go on stage, it's just about money. People can see that it's just a job. They're like, that band is freaking boring. Look at them on stage. They don't move. They don't feel it. Um,
yeah,
Yesterday I watched the Rolling Stones talking about Mick Jagger, and I'm thinking this guy is worth about $400 million. Why does he do it? Does he need another $1 million? No, he does it because he loves what he does for a living. People need to understand that. People criticize them, and people love them, of course, but people criticize them. Whoa, look, Rolling Stone, they're 78 years old. You know what? They do it better than anybody else. They love what they do, and they still have a fan base. So let them do what they love to do. Period. That's the way it is. Um, Same for Paul McCartney. He loves what he does. He doesn't do it for the money. Yes, he's gonna get paid, of course, but he doesn't need another $1 million. He could retire and go in the Bahamas and live a happy life and fish every day and go swimming. No, he
yeah,
does it because he loves what he does for a living. So whatever you do for a living, whether you're a banker, whether you are a farmer, whether you anything, if you do it because you love to do it, then continue doing it until you can no longer, of course. But do it. Nobody's stopping you. And if you have like if you're a musician and people come and see you and pay to see you, God, you should be grateful. I'm grateful to have a crowd, to have fans. I just played M3 and it was great. And I tell you, I'm very grateful to take a picture
yeah,
with a fan. I'm very grateful when someone says, "Can I have your autograph?" I'm very grateful because I'm like, "Thank you, thank you." I guess people still like me and still like my music, and I didn't compromise. That's the word I was looking for. Compromising. I tell you
yeah.
the truth. I don't compromise, and I don't. It pleases some people. It pleases some people, and people sometimes criticize me. I do not compromise. It is what it is, and I always say I'm Terry Ilous, and that's what it is. I would not compromise and do something I don't like to do. Period.
That. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You gotta say. I agree. You gotta say true to yourself because that's when you lose yourself, I think.
Good.
Um.
The day I don't like
Yeah.
singing, trust me, you'll know it. And I will go retire in the Bahamas or Costa Rica or Mexico somewhere, and I'll be there, and I'll be like, "Yep, I'm gonna get myself a margarita, and then today I'm gonna go get myself a little cappuccino, and then play soccer with my buddies." And that's life, You retire,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Terry. So, we are close to the hour mark, so we gotta wrap this up, sadly. But I always like to finish with a little top three favorite albums.
Okay. The top
So, what
three.
would you say first?
Where I don't what genre of music you're talking about?
Whatever comes to your mind, whatever are your top three albums, all genres.
Well, I have different albums that I like. When it comes to rock, I think I like. When it comes to rock, I like AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Um,
Yeah,
I love um, Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath with Ronnie Dio. It's
yeah.
one of my favorite all time rock album. Um, I also like James Brown at the Apollo Theater. Tony was brilliant.
Oh
Uh,
wow, yeah,
his voice was stage. I mean, I could hear it. I could. It's amazing. Um, I like the Rolling Stones album. It's only rock and roll.
a
Great
classic.
album. What else? I like Physical Graffiti by Zeppelin. One of my all-time favorite album. I love Physical Graffiti. Um, what else? Tom Jones, the Gold album. Love it. Las Vegas Gold album. What else? There's so many great albums out there. It's hard to say one, but I think these are definitely, especially the Sabbath, Black Sabbath album with Ronnie Dio singing was like a
Yeah,
rude awakening. I remember listening to that for the first time. I was like, holy shit, that guy is freaking amazing. I became a fan. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was a fan before with Rainbow and all that stuff, but it seems to me like he was singing really well with Rainbow and everything. But when Sabbath came along, Heaven and Hell, and all those albums after that, the Mob Rules, all that stuff, I was like, oh my God, that's the kind of singer I'd like to be. If
yeah,
you asked me earlier who I wanted to be, I don't think there's anybody else I'd like to be. But if there's one guy that really influenced me was Ronnie Dio. I mean, Ronnie's voice was to this day. I think there's very few people like who can sing like Ronnie. Ronnie is an exceptional singer and was a very kind human being, and that's very rare. Ronnie was my hero. Um,
yeah.
his voice, Jesus Christ, the passion.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else. Yeah, absolutely. Right. I love his music, and he had the stage presence as
Oh
well.
God, he was great stage performer, but he was a little guy. And I remember meeting Ronnie Dio, and I was like, "Yeah, I like him. He's shorter than I like him." I was, and he was really kind. He was really nice. He was not pretentious. I did not even have a record deal when I met him, and he was really kind to me. He did not look down. Oh, who are you? Just a little wannabe. No, he was really kind. Ronnie Dio was the real deal and
Yeah,
real deal. And that's all I can say. To this day, I would say Ronnie was probably, as far as I'm concerned, the best heavy metal singer of all time. Better than anybody else. I mean, there's a lot of great singers out there, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to heavy metal, man, nobody can sing like him. That's what I think. I mean, Rob Halford is also another one, but Ronnie is my favorite.
yeah. I think I agree with that. Yeah.
That's
All
it.
right, Terry. Terry, it's been great talking with you, man. I could talk with you for hours.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. So, thank you very much for being on the show. I had a great time.
Yeah, if you're more than welcome to make it shorter. If you think it's too long, you can cut some things of it. I don't care. You can make
No,
it.
man, I just keep everything in. I think it was all great.
All right. Well, I hope I satisfied you, and I hope I wish you the very best in whatever you do in life, and enjoy your life, and enjoy your life.
Thanks, man. I hope you too, and I'll be waiting for those new songs from you.
I appreciate you very, very much. So take care of yourself. Thanks. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
All right, folks. Sadly, that's all the time we have for today, but what an episode, right? Don't forget to hit the follow button on Spotify and share it with your friends. You can also follow us on Instagram at hollywood.dreams.podcast. And rock on!